everyone. Elizabeth, how are you doing, Elizabeth Tabor?
Hi, Dan. I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast. I get lots of messages about the clinical trials guru. So to actually be here with you today is super exciting.
Well, I hope the messages are good, Elizabeth. I
Yep, they're,
really do.
they're all good. I'll let you know if they're bad.
I've amassed a few haters over the years, but we'll talk off camera about that. But on camera, listen, the first thing we just did a Latinas in Clinical Research live stream with Elizabeth. She's the founder of Clinical Research Referral Club, right?
Yes, total mouthful.
Forget the network there, guys. Clinical Research Referral Club. I'm a member. Um, I actually, few people already reached out, and I kind of told them where to go and what to do. So we're already like helping people point them in the right direction. Everybody should get on there. I'm on the $5 a month plan, which is really nothing. Like just not even a cup of coffee anymore. Coffee is now more than that.
Right.
Um,
We're at a
so
sticky gum.
a stick, a stick of gum these days. Listen, we'll get into your career.
Okay.
I know there's some interesting things there I want to discuss, but
Okay.
I got a comment that it didn't frustrate me, but uh, it tells you. Why don't I just read it? Okay. So it's somebody replied to a video I did. What is a clinical research coordinator and what do they do? And then I did like an 8 minute. Here's what they do. You don't need to be certified. Just you know my usual spiel. This person commented, if no credentials are required, then I don't understand why do I get rejected if I have co-authored 2 publications, I know the basics of research, and I think I can be a good fit for the position. I applied to many hospitals, but always end up getting rejected. And I know why I get frustrated because I literally make video on this every month, and apparently it's not enough. But what is your take on this comment?
I would say my take is that that person is relying too heavily on their technical skills. When you do not have clinical research direct experience, that is where your soft skills get you in the door. That networking with professionals, putting your name out there, commenting on posts, learning the jargon. When it comes to entering clinical research, you have to know the buzzwords. For example, if you work in pharmacy and you say drug, and you need to say I do drug accountability. That's what you do in the pharmacist, because when clinical researchers hear that back, they're like, oh, okay, you're speaking a language I understand. So yeah, I would say for me, it just sounds like too much of technical skills and not enough of soft skills of how to say those words that pique clinical researchers' interest in saying you'll be a team player, you kind of understand what's going on, and then also showing the extra effort beyond I'm great on paper.
Yes, that I get as well,
Mhm.
but it like deeper under the layer because I own a site, so I would hire in theory this candidate. What I read is you said it, relying too much on their technical skills, but there's also a sentiment of elitism. Like
Oh yeah, that too.
I've published 2 papers, why won't they talk to me? And I made this video rant in the car because nobody cares is the bottom line. And it sounds horrible. I know it sounds horrible.
Nope, I don't think so. I tell people in this industry, everybody is smart. You're in rooms where most people have PhDs, MDs, multiple masters. So when you're in a room with smart people, they're like, okay, we're smart too. What else? What else are you bringing to the table?
Right, right. That's such a good point because my PI at my site, right? I have 5 PIs. They don't care. Like if I tell them I have a coordinator, like they're gonna care about a lot of things. They're gonna care. First of all, if they're a foreign trained doctor like IMG, that's awesome because they feel like it's a colleague. But anyone else, unless you're a foreign trained physician, like PhD, I mean, they don't care because they see themselves as like elite already. What we don't need is another elite. We need somebody who has soft skills. Are you able to get this patient to the clinic when they don't feel like coming? Are you able to appease this monitor? I know Elizabeth used to be a monitor. Let's say Elizabeth's mad because you have outstanding action items. I'm going to calm Elizabeth down. Listen, I'm sorry. Here's what we'll do. That's what they want. They don't care that you publish 2 peer-reviewed journals.
Yes, I definitely agree with that. When people send their resumes, I'm like, okay, if you got called for an interview, they already know you have the technical skills to do a job. But interview is more of, will I like to work with you? Not about if you can do the work, because they've already read you have the skills to do the work.
Yeah. Okay. Now let's transition to your career. So I mentioned you were a CRA,
Yes.
and you mentioned on LICR how you get started. If you don't mind doing like a 1-minute elevator pitch of how you get started to where you are, but I do want to focus on the CRA work after.
Okay. So I got started through a referral pretty much. I was like everybody else, stumbled upon clinical research pretty much, and nothing in my background aligned with clinical research. My last job before then was in finance. So with that, I was like, how in the world am I going to spend finance and make this work with clinical research? So in finance, we had to do cold calls. So I kind of learned how to do that, and I translated that to emails. And eventually somebody got back to me once I started putting myself out there on LinkedIn, and I was no longer just a name on a piece of paper. From there, they did bring me into my first interview, which was at a site, so Vanderbilt. And from there, I didn't get the job. I did all that prep work, used LinkedIn to look everybody up. I had a 10-person panel interview. They made me meet everybody on the team at once. And LinkedIn
Wow.
helped me prepare for that. So if you ever have a panel interview, I can help you. But from there, they was just like, okay, you're not a perfect fit right now. And they were
Wait. Hold on. Okay, so this Vanderbilt 10-person panel, what did you do to prepare? Did they tell you everyone that's going to be there? Or
Okay, so yes, they told me everyone that was going to be there on the panel. So what I did was go to LinkedIn, and I found one fact that I could relate to for every person that was in that room.
you memorized or you wrote it down or
I wrote it down with a notepad
okay.
and piece of paper. And as you know, I went around talking to them. I had an idea about why that team came together to be successful, because I, at that point, kind of knew what their background was and their strengths. So when it came time to ask questions or try to find something relatable, I had one fact on everybody. And at the end of that, I also sent a personalized email to everybody, like, thank you for your time, and, reiterated that I had did the work to try to, get to know the team. Unfortunately, I was newer and they went with somebody more experienced, but they really enjoyed my interview and appreciated the effort that I had put in. So a few months later, they called me back and they was like, we're starting up a new department and we would like to offer you a job in this department. So I technically got that job through a referral of them meeting me the first time, because it was an entirely different team than what I initially interviewed with. From there, I was somebody coming in that knew I wanted to be a CRA. So like a sponge, I was like, anything I can learn, I want to learn. I worked in study startup, which meant I got to sit during the QVs and the SIVs when CRAs came. And I took that opportunity to connect with the CRAs that were coming to the site at the time. I would just be like, hey, I'm interested in becoming a CRA. Can you, connect with me on LinkedIn, share a piece of advice today? And people were pretty perceptive. From there, I just kind of developed my skills, but you can't be a CRA at a site. So that shifted me to working at the CRO. From the CRO, I stayed in alignment with clinical operations and found myself as a CTA. That's where things really took off for me, of, moving towards that path of becoming a CRA. As their support system, I supported them in everything I absolutely could. in terms of, making allies and showing that, I had the tenacity to be a CRA. From there, COVID hit, and I had to pivot once again. Through COVID, that allowed me to be a study coordinator. During that time as a study coordinator, I had a whole new respect of clinical research. It's different than, just receiving documents and making sure that you're getting ISFs and other study supplies. That experience, I had a CRA that I was like, wow, this is maybe not the best way to go about it. And I took that opportunity to learn how to be the CRA I wish I would have had during that time.
I
From
see.
there, what were we gonna say? Were you gonna say something?
No. So you had the stints with, well, a couple major CROs, but the last one you did before you went out to start clinical research referral, right? You have a gap year. You're in a gap year right now, right?
Yes.
And the LinkedIn says I voluntarily, and you put asterisk, took a step back from corporate to concentrate on professional skill development, pursue creative endeavors, and prioritize my health. During this period, I've remained highly dedicated and active within the research community. So a lot of people are afraid to do this. You only share as much as you're comfortable, but what motivated you to do that? Was it a good experience there? Or like, can you kind of give some color on this experience?
I'm going to say that I advanced my education. So I got a degree in IT. And with that, as I learned more about myself and my skills, I realized that the traditional path of CRA, CTM was, maybe not in alignment with who I am today.
Mm,
And with that, as I started putting my fillers out in the market about, other opportunities, I kept hitting roadblocks of you're a CRA, why would you want to do anything else? The money is not the same.
yeah.
So with that
And
and
what was it? What was it about the CTM role? Because for a lot of people, that's a desirable role, right? Like to a lot of people, that's the destination, dream job. I had Jess Thompson on recently, and she had, we did a 2 hour in depth on mental health, and where I kind of shared some of my struggles, like early in my career. But to a lot of people, that seems like, Elizabeth, you're crazy for like leaving that pathway when you're already there. You're almost there.
I would say for me, it's the time demands. When it comes to being a CTM, your time is being pulled in a lot more different directions than it is as a CRA. And I'm organized, but project management is not my bread and butter. And with me knowing that about myself, I was like, I cannot commit to these time demands that it requires to be a CTM. My CTMs were up at all night supporting CRAs in all different time zones. And when I just kind of saw what their workload looked
Yeah.
like, I was just like, I don't think this is for me. So I was there, but just being so close to that position, I was just like, I don't think that this is going to align with my innate strengths in general.
Yeah. I know the feeling because when I was a contract CRA for a small CRO, I worked really closely with their project manager, and that person would not sleep because these were global studies. And so I was like the diva basically. I was just going to sites, doing my reports, and then I'm done. This guy was troubleshooting all sponsor issues, all monitor issues. Like when I had a show, I went to him. All site issues. If the sites don't get paid, they go to you. It's you don't stop, and the fact that it's 24/7 global is insane. And when I found out what he got paid, I was like, this is ridiculous. I would never do this.
Yeah, when people see that pay that comes when you start being a CRA and a CTM, I always say, if you work 60 hours a week, your hourly amount is not what you think it might
That's right.
be. So I always say, consider what overtime looks like per se when you're in an
Oof.
hourly position to know if that salary is really worth your time or not.
Let's say you want to take 3 weeks and go to Europe, right? Like my coordinator just did. If we walk outside this door, maybe she's still there, Katie. She took 3 weeks off in September to go to Europe. And the only reason it's allowed here is because we're a small clinic and everyone covers for each other. But like, there's no way you're doing this at in the CTM role for just about any study.
Nope. Work-life balance is so important. I've had CTMs that they'd be like, "Oh yeah, I'm bringing my laptop with me. I'll be working," and I'm like, "Wait, I thought you were off." And there's no such thing as really being off as a CTM. So when
And
I
as a
saw that,
business owner, either. But at least as a business owner, that's
I
your own
agree.
doing. You're in charge.
I agree. I have not had an off day since we launched the
But
clinic.
it's different though.
It
And
is.
that's the philosophical point I want to resonate with, because you don't want to work 60 hours a week for someone else, but you'll work 80 for yourself.
Yes. I feel like though for me it's stability and knowing that working for myself will get me somewhere. You could work really hard to make someone else's dream come true, and then the next day they could say thank you for your time, we don't need you anymore. And seeing that has kind of been a trend in this industry here lately, I didn't want to
Ouch.
be a victim of that.
So you noticed your career was headed towards this chaotic mess of endless work weeks and no rest in sight anytime soon. You say, you know what? You didn't just say overnight, I'm going to start clinical research referral club. How did that start?
Actually,
You
I
said
launched
overnight.
it was over. No, it doesn't seem like that. Okay, so it was an overnight idea because I have been on LinkedIn for a little over a year trying to put out different things to help people. And after I recharged from, feeling burnt out from being a CRA, I was like, okay, it's time to get back out there. In that time, I had realized that the network I had stopped nurturing it, and it kind of, started dwindling and dying down. So I was like, okay, have to get back out there, start putting myself back out there. And in that moment, I was like, wait, other people probably need this too. So with that, I created a quick flyer on Canva, and I would say within an hour, we had already had 200 people sign up. And within 3 days, we were at 500. And I had called my co-founder, within that first hour, and I was like, hey, I need your help. This is going to get way bigger than I can do for myself right now. And since then, it's just really been taking off.
Wow. So really, it was that quick of a decision. Like, I can do this. Do you have technical expertise? Um, I know you have an app because I use it. I signed up, when was it, yesterday or the day before? Um, so there's an app, like it's not just like anyone can make that. Or how
Oh,
did you decide to do all this? Like, how did you not just decide but actually do it?
so I will say our app, we use Mighty Networks. So it's a platform, and they offer an app through that. But everything else, IT, you see, that's all me. It's just been a hobby of mine that I have never really put out there. So because I have that and it's an interest, I, built our community on the inside, do the graphics, automate things, and I would just say it's just a natural kind of talent that I have.
Okay, so it's something that's you can actually do it on your own. It's kind of, I'm guessing, like Squarespace, where you can make your own website relatively easily.
Yeah.
Okay.
It wasn't too bad.
So the tools are here now to empower regular people to have tech platforms, whereas even 5 years ago, if you wanted to make an app, you had to like pay developers and
uh
all that stuff.
yeah, no, we're not doing all of that, and truly don't even have time at this point to be doing
Okay.
that.
Well, congrats to you. What's the goal for your career now? Is it entrepreneur? You think you'll ever go back to CRO work or sponsor work?
I believe for myself, yes, I do think I will go back. Just because I loved, actually being in the mix. And being in the mix allows my skills to stay relevant because this industry is changing every day. But with that, I think now with having CRC, that contracting would be a better bet for me. Just because this is very time demanding, and I truly do want to support as many people as possible. But through that, I know that I have to keep my skills relevant as well.
Okay. And the response so far has been really good, from what I hear and what I've been able to see so far. I spent a little bit of time on there yesterday or the day before. Hopefully, we'll see you at SOS, and we'll probably need to do update interviews with you. And I know with LICR, we're going to be doing some collabs. If people want to get a hold of you, Elizabeth, I'll have your LinkedIn underneath in the video or in the show notes if you're listening. Particular people you're trying to reach out to?
Actually, I would say nobody comes to mind right now because I want to reach as many people as I can, especially people that feel alone in their job searches or their career endeavors, whatever that might be. I've connected with so many people that say that they're in a research desert and they're just
Yeah.
looking for some type of lifeline, but no particular person comes to mind.
Okay. We're gonna have a bunch of people reach out to you. We're gonna keep doing maybe quarterly interviews, and it'd be really cool to get success interviews from graduates. Well, not graduates, but members of the referral club, coming on and sharing what they do and what happened with them, uh, as a result of networking. Because I think networking is so underrated, and there's something magic. It's like human nature to network. It's anti-human not to network and to rely on yourself. Kind of like that first comment we opened with. Um, Everything about that comment was, "This was me. This is what I do. I don't know," but it should be about everyone. Who are you talking? Who are you connecting with? And there's magic when numbers meet for any particular goal or career outcomes or collectively as a whole. So thank you for creating Clinical Research Referral Club, and we'll do this again. And Cameron says I'd really be interested in hearing their stories. Yes, indeed, we will.
Yes, I will say that that is on the pipeline for us. And every month we do have a week of member spotlights where we pick different members from different backgrounds to kind of share, where they came from, why they joined, and what they want to gain for themselves. We do not put limits on how people network. We want to see you succeed, so, when you come into our space, we expect you to reach for the stars.
Well, we really appreciate Elizabeth. Again, Elizabeth's link is underneath, in the show notes, and people are already going to be reaching out, like hell. So thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank
And
you
thank you,
so much.
everyone, for watching. We'll do more. This is the first of many, guys. Bye bye.
Bye.